What's up, people? Welcome back to the video. So today what we're gonna do is pretty simple. We're gonna react to prisoner who escapes from Alcatraz sends letter to the FBI 50 years later. I actually learned this in my school, like in elementary. They were telling about this story and whatever. And yeah, I don't really remember like all of it. I just know like I remember like three prisoners escaped from Alcatraz. And if y'all don't know what prison is Alcatraz, is the rebirth map from Warzone. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, we're gonna be watching this. I already explained it. Yeah, subscribe to this guy. I guess I don't know. Oh damn, he has 10 million. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah.
Every once in a while, the
Who's
smartest
gonna be
minds of
joining
the
me?
criminal
Hell
world
yeah.
hatch ingenious plans
Some
to
little
steal
bit
back their
Sprite.
freedom. But was Alcatraz, San Francisco's notoriously inescapable prison, invulnerable to such escape attempts? Well, one letter, claiming to be from someone who successfully escaped the prison, threatens to shatter this idea. Let's dive into the San Francisco Bay and try to get to the bottom of it. Alcatraz was in operation from 1934 to 1963, during which time it was home sweet home to some of the most infamous criminals in American history. Its inmates included George Machine Gun Kelly and even Al Capone himself. It was designed to be a prison for America's most troublesome inmates, as its armed guards, towering steel walls, and isolated location made escape seemingly impossible. Even if an inmate made it out of the building somehow, they'd then have to find their way across the natural freezing cold moat of San Francisco Bay. The bay was rumored to have currents powerful enough to drown even the strongest swimmers in seconds. And that's not to mention the great white sharks. With its reputation considered, you can
That is damn, it's actually pretty accurate to the rebirth map. Yeah, that's crazy. Even the lighthouse,
imagine the
whatever
San
that shit's
Francisco
called. That's
Police
crazy.
Department's surprise when they received a letter in 2013 claiming to be from an Alcatraz escapee. But how could someone possibly escape
Yo, y'all got I remember this. How they escaped, it was crazy. Like
from Alcatraz?
to know all of that, like at that time, I'm pretty sure that was like 19, was in the 90s, I think. That's crazy. Like I don't really know how they
And
knew how
lived
to
to
do
tell
all
the
of
tale?
that.
Let's rewind. In 1962, 4 men planned an escape from Alcatraz. The mastermind behind the plan was Frank Lee Morris. A career criminal, Morris was convicted of his first crime at the age of 13. Before he was even old enough to buy cigarettes, he'd been arrested for everything from drug possession to armed robbery. But despite his troubled life, Frank was highly intelligent, scoring 133 on an IQ test administered in prison. Unfortunately, he applied his high IQ for almost solely criminal endeavors. It made him a nightmare for prison wardens. In the late 1950s, he escaped from prison in Louisiana, trying to avoid serving a 10-year sentence for bank robbery. When he was recaptured in 1960, he was sent straight to Alcatraz. If the cops ever jokingly told him to try getting out of this jail, they'd have to eat those words less than 2 years later. Escapees 2 and 3 were brothers and criminal partners John and Clarence Anglin from Georgia. When the brothers were in their 20s, they branched out from their jobs as seasonal farm workers and started robbing banks. They were initially successful, but as criminals, they had their quirks. The brothers claimed that the only weapon they ever used was a toy gun, as they disliked the idea of physically hurting anyone during their robberies. But despite the toy gun they were found with during their final robbery, they received 20-year sentences after the police apprehended them. They made repeated escape attempts from a facility in Atlanta before the guards grew tired of their shenanigans and sent them to Alcatraz. The final piece of the puzzle, Alan West, went to jail for car theft and was also sent out. The final piece of the puzzle.
For a second, I thought that looked like Peter Parker. I don't know why.
Alan West
I mean, it looked a little bit,
went to jail for car theft and was also sent to Alcatraz after an unsuccessful escape attempt from a Florida prison. At the time of his transfer, he was 28, but had only an 8th grade education. This might explain the unfortunate thing that happened to him later in this story. Stay tuned to find out West's crucial mistake. These 4 prisoners were next-door cell neighbors in Alcatraz, and after becoming acquainted, they were soon working on an escape plan. Over the course of 6 months, each of them painstakingly gradually widened the ventilation ducts in their cells. This is where the cleverness of Frank Lee Morris really flourished. Under his guidance, they chipped away using discarded saw blades from the prison workshops, spoons stolen from the mess hall, and an electric drill fashioned out of a vacuum cleaner motor. They hid their progress from the prying eyes of the guards by covering it up with cardboard painted to resemble the walls. The noise.
How you painted it, bro? Like a lot of these shit. Also, a lot of these prison breaks, they seem like they were like a long time ago, like in the 90s. I feel like it's impossible, or close to be impossible, to escape in, like, let's say 2022. Like, who the fuck is gonna escape from prison, bro? Like, I feel like if you are 10 years in prison and you try to escape, you're just dumb. Like, I get it if you're alive or death sentence, but like, if you're only 10 years, bro, you're gonna get off 10 years. Like, if you try to escape and you fail, you're probably gonna stay there for like 50 more years. So I don't know. It's just like
created was
you're really
masked
down.
by the den of the
You're really
daily
down
music
bad if you
hour,
do it.
something Alcatraz staff had introduced to try and make things less grim. When the holes were big enough to crawl through, the four men began slipping away every night to the vacant top level of the cell block. There, they stealthily assembled life preservers in a 6x14-foot raft out of stolen raincoats, hand-stitched together and sealed using heating pipes. Scrap wood would serve as their only way of steering against the powerful currents and frigid waters of the bay. The guards never noticed that the men weren't in their beds every night thanks to the dummy heads they crafted and left on their pillows. They fashioned them out of a mixture of soap, toothpaste, concrete dust, and toilet paper.
But if you're that smart to do all that shit, be a fucking, I don't know, NASA motherfucker. I don't know. Like, architect. Like, bro, if you could do this and you have a high IQ, like, I don't know why you'd be robbing banks and all that. Or doing whatever you do, crimes. Like, bro, get a fucking real job and it will pay you a lot more. And invest, make a business. You know what I'm saying? Try to do something with that fucking IQ, bro.
They
Like,
even painted
I
on
wish I
faces
had
and
that.
stuck on hair from the barbershop floor. With everything in place, their plan was to paddle across the bay to land, where they would steal a car and drive off to freedom. Eventually, the big day arrived. Night fell and each man wriggled his way to the roof. All but one, that is. Unfortunately for Alan West, he'd used cement to keep his vent in place so that the guards wouldn't notice he'd removed it. And it had hardened. By the time he got it off, it was too late. Morris and the Anglin brothers had no choice.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't there only 3? But yeah, I was right.
But to
I don't
leave
remember
without
that
it.
much about
The
it, but
escapees took their
I was
gear
right.
with them, climbed down a vent pipe to the ground, then scaled a couple of 12-foot tall barbed wire fences. Eventually, they reached the shore near the island's power plant, which was a blind spot for all the searchlights and gun towers. Using a concertina, a sort of miniature accordion, as a bellows, they inflated the raft and set sail into the uncertain night. Though he didn't escape, it's thanks to Alan that we know so much about how those 3 prisoners got away. But did they survive the raft's maiden voyage? Let's look at the evidence. In 2013, 51 years after Morris and the Anglins' daring escape, the police received a letter from someone claiming to be John Anglin. The writer admitted to the escape and claimed that he was the last surviving member of the trio and that he was dying of cancer. In light of his seemingly imminent demise, the writer offered the cops a deal. He would turn himself in if they promised to get him medical treatment and less than a year of jail time. But was this extraordinary letter really from John Anglin? He would have been 83 in 2013, so it's certainly possible that he would have been alive, provided he survived the trip across the bay in 1962, that is. The letter was carefully examined for fingerprints and DNA, and the handwriting was expertly analyzed, but results were inconclusive. Without certainty either way, the letter's origins may seem dubious at first, but there are convincing reasons to believe the trio made it off the island alive, which may give credibility to the letter. While the FBI officially concluded in 1979 that the 3 men drowned after their escape in 1962, their bodies were never found, and not everybody was convinced.
yeah, the bodies are probably never gonna be found. Cause if it was like, okay, they die, right? Or they drown, whatever. Like, you don't just go down, or how can I explain this? You just don't go down, like your body's moving everywhere. Like right now, where's this? Alcatraz. I don't know where Alcatraz is located, but let's say it was like in fucking all the way in Canada. I don't know, in the fucking Pacific Ocean. Like, bro, it could travel like a lot, and that was like 51 years ago. So you don't really know.
U.S. Marshal Service, for instance, officially lists the case as still open to this day. When
I don't know. You
commenting on
too
the case,
smart. I
one
don't
U.S.
know.
Marshal named Michael Dyke noted that the bodies of 2 out of every 3 people who go missing in San Francisco Bay are eventually recovered. Seeing as none of the 3 escapees were ever officially found, dead or otherwise, this may give extra statistical backing to the claims of a successful escape. On top of this, a police officer on the night of the break reported spotting an illegal boat near Alcatraz at 1 a.m. This aligns with the escape, which likely took several hours and began at around 10 p.m. Based on this, some theorized the trio had outside help of some kind. Indeed, a jailbreak like this would also require meticulous planning for life on the lam after the escape was completed, under the guidance of the demonstratively gifted escape artist Frank Moore.
Yeah, several hours. I thought it was only to like 5 minutes, 10, 30 max, but several hours? I would have never thought. I'm gonna be for real.
Does that really seem so impossible? What did seem impossible, to many at the time, was the thought of escaping Alcatraz on the water. The bay's reputation made escape seem like a futile, deadly waste of effort. However, later on in the same year as the trio's prison break, another inmate named John Paul Scott shook up the bay's reputation. Scott successfully swam from
Are these actual pictures of like them?
effort.
Are they? Are these actual pictures? Cause this motherfucker's okay. The middle one looks. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he like. Like who makes that face? But this guy. Look at this guy. That looks like me. Hold up. Hold up. I think that looks like me. Hold up. Yo, what? Nah, but who's this kid, bro? What's he doing?
John Paul Scott shook up the bay's reputation. Scott successfully swam from Alcatraz to Fort Point below the Golden Gate Bridge. He was recaptured, half dead from hypothermia, but it proved that escape across the water was in fact possible. Plus, all Scott used were some water wings.
Wait, Harmatobia. What the fuck is that? Like from cold?
Below the Golden Gate Bridge. He was recaptured, half dead from hypothermia, but it proved that escape across
Harper told me. I think that's like yeah, when you too cold or whatever.
The water was in fact possible. Plus, all Scott used were some water wings he'd made by inflating rubber gloves. Morris and the Anglin brothers had a raft. What's more, nowadays, amateur athletes swim the bay all the time just for fun. The perilous bay idea may indeed have been more of a scare tactic myth than a real impassable obstacle. But the evidence goes deeper still. Over the years, there have been many reported sightings of the escapees. At one point in the mid-60s, rumors about Clarence Anglin living in Brazil were so prevalent that the FBI actually sent agents down there to try and find him. In 1967, someone claiming to be a former classmate of Frank Morris told police that he'd bumped into him in Maryland, and that he now sported a beard and mustache. On top of that, family members of the Anglins have reported receiving countless unsigned postcards, seemingly from their brothers over the years. The Anglin's mother even received flowers from an anonymous source every—
Bro, who gives a fuck if they escape? Like years later, like who gives a fuck anymore? Like I'm not even gonna be mad because like your ass actually escaped. That's impressive. You deserve to be out of there. Like you deserve to be out of there. I mean, I don't know what they actually did. I don't know if they killed people. But like, bro, that much effort into it and you actually succeed. I feel like impressive, bro.
Every Mother's Day.
Impressive, bro.
In
Like, what are you talking about?
And 2 tall, odd-looking women in heavy makeup reportedly attended her funeral. When their father died, 2 mysterious men with large beards showed up at the funeral home, cried in front of the casket, then left. Could these have been the slapdash comical disguises of 2 masters of escape and evasion? Years later still, in 1989, there were reports that the trio were in Florida. A woman called the Unsolved Mysteries tip line and said she recognized a picture of Clarence Anglin as a man.
Well, the thing is that they're not even police. It's just like actual citizens, like normal people. And like, y'all really give a fuck about him being out or not, like, who gives a fuck? Let him be.
living on a farm.
Like,
nearby.
damn, let him
Another
be.
unrelated woman also reported seeing him in the same area. When a third witness identified a sketch of Frank Morris,
These are old people. I'm telling you, these are old people. I'm telling you.
said she'd seen a man resembling him in the exact same part of Florida, the evidence reached new heights. But could these witnesses merely be people pranking the police, or conspiracy-prone individuals simply seeing what they wanted to see? Or could the trio really have survived their perilous raft trip and fled to the Sunshine State? The reliability of these accounts is questionable, no doubt, but the evidence stretches further than personal stories. Arguably the strongest evidence of a successful escape is the evidence of an FBI cover-up. The FBI had claimed at the time of the escape, and in the decades that followed, that no evidence of a successful escape had ever been discovered. There was, they claimed, no evidence of a raft making it to shore, nor of any car thefts to facilitate a getaway. But despite official statements in 1962,
Why are they gonna leave the raft there? I mean, I know it's possible, but like, bro, he had like 130 something IQ. Like, who the fuck is gonna leave that shit there? I'm taking it with me. Even with the IQ that I got, I really don't. How does that work? How does IQ test work? Like they fucking do some shit to your head and somehow figure that out, or you gotta like do a test. I think yeah, I think that's how it works. You gotta like do a test, like remember these stuff that they fucking show you. I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be right. I don't know.
it was later revealed that evidence of a homemade raft and paddle was found on Angel Island, north of Alcatraz, the day after
actually
the
didn't take
escape.
out my phone.
Not only that, but a 1955 blue Chevrolet was stolen that night, shortly after the escape, by no less than 3 men. The choice to withhold this evidence until the early 2010s does seem to suggest a cover-up. After all, why would this information be withheld for decades if there was nothing more to the case, and the men drowned like the FBI said they did? It certainly arouses suspicion. But there's one last piece of evidence that
I'm gonna be for real. I don't think they drowned. I mean, they could have. High chance they did. But I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that they didn't. And did I just realize that? I hope that was in there
some
the whole
take as
video.
proof of a successful escape. A photograph taken in 1975, which supposedly features both Anglin brothers. The photo was given to the Anglin family by an old family friend in the 90s who claimed to have encountered the brothers in the 70s. The picture was recently examined by a facial recognition analyst who concluded that the men it showed could
Who? The facial analytics
was recently examined by a facial recognition analyst
facial recognition. What? Please don't tell me it's a motherfucker that like actually works to find people that look alike. Please don't tell me that's how they pay
it
you.
showed could
Just for
indeed
that.
be the brothers. If the photo really is them,
You really need a special person to tell you if they look like. You really need like a professional person.
then
I
their
know,
escape
bro.
was a
No.
success. And with the evidence of a cover-up and countless reporting, then their escape was a success. And with the evidence of a cover-up and countless reported sightings and contacts with the Anglin brothers, is a deathbed confession letter beyond possibility? Well, I guess that's up to you. So the big question is, do you think that mysterious letter came from John Anglin, or do you doubt the trio ever made it safely to land at all? Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.
I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this. I think they escaped, cause in the 90s there was not cameras. No, I think there were cameras, but not like everywhere. Like over here in red lights. I mean in whatever they called, red lights, green lights. I don't know. They have cameras. Almost everywhere you go, they have cameras. Back then, they didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they escaped, and I think some of them are still alive and all that. It's crazy to be smart like that, but yeah. I hope y'all liked the video, and if you want to subscribe. If you want to like, Like, if you like the video, do whatever you want. You could subscribe or whatever. I'm not gonna control you, but yeah. I haven't been really posting. I don't have no excuse. I'm gonna be for real. Like, I was gonna take like a 1 week break, and then 1 week turn into another week, and yeah, it was probably gonna keep going. I'm like, hold up. Let me post a Warzone video, right? My headset fucking broke, and yeah, I'm still gonna try to post like a Warzone video with these bitches. Like, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. But like, to game with, like, I don't know if y'all have tried it, but like, try it out. It's not the best. But yeah. Um I I also feel like I keep posting and I'm not, like, bro, I feel like I, like, thank you for the people that support me, watch my videos, subscribe to me. Thank you for subscribing to me. But like, I feel like I'm underrated. Like, I don't deserve millions of subscribers or 1 million subscribers. I don't deserve that. Plus, I only been 1 year. Like, other creators have been 5 years in this shit. I basically barely started. So yeah, just like, I feel like I at least deserve 1,000. My content is not that good, but it's not that fucking bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, whatever. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes love. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.